Okay, so I'm gonna get straight to it. I don't really have no intro. I'm gonna just get straight to it. This is 25 days of self love in business, and like I said on my story, everything that we're going to talk about, everything that we're going to do and go over can be applied to any area of your life. I am just personally for 25 days speaking to entrepreneurs, but if you're not an entrepreneur, don't think this information can't help you as well. But I am just strictly talking to my entrepreneurs this week because I know that we fall short in a lot of areas and we try to figure out why we can't get to the next level. We try to figure out why our business is stagnant and stuck. And so I just want to give some self-love tips when it comes to business to my entrepreneurs. So today is day one, consistency. This is something that every entrepreneur has said before. I want to be more consistent. I got to be more consistent in X, Y, and Z, right? And so that's something that I was like, I'm doing that for day one. Like, it ain't no order. Everything that I have on the 25 days, there's no exact order. I am just going to literally just give, what I have in my heart. So today I wanted to do consistency. And so whenever it's like, for me with consistency, whenever it's like something that I'm really not like into and like really like there with, I may not be consistent. So I kept asking myself, like, how can I be more consistent? But this is something that we talk about a lot. Like, we talk about consistency so much, but yet we don't realize that we are consistent already. And so I wrote down, like, you know how to be consistent. A lot of times we're like, I need to be more consistent, but we all know how to be consistent. We got to figure out where our consistent energy is flowing towards. So what are you being consistent with? Are you being consistent with eating unhealthy? Are you being consistent with not working out? Are you being consistent with not working towards your dreams and your goals and your business and everything? Like, what are you being consistent with is the real question, not how can I be more consistent? You got to ask yourself, what can I be more consistent in? Because I'm already consistent. We already know how to be consistent. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're already consistent. It's what you're being consistent with. That's the question. Okay, so I'm kind of going to go through some steps and some things that I have realized that help me with being consistent in the right areas and how. Okay, so number one, how to shift where your consistent energy is flowing is what we're going to go over. Okay, where do you want to be consistent in? Ask yourself that question, right? We have to ask ourselves, where do I want to be consistent? I'm already consistent in doing my daily personal development, but I'm not so consistent with content. Let's use that as an example. Maybe every morning I really do wake up and focus on personal development, but I don't focus and be consistent with posting content, right? So there may be areas that you are consistent, and there's also going to be those areas where you're like, not so consistent. So I want you to truly ask yourself, where do you want to be consistent? Write a list. Write a list of things that you want to be consistent in. I want to be consistent in my morning routine. I want to be consistent in making content. I want to be consistent in promoting and pushing my business every single day, everywhere I go, not just on social media. I want to be consistent in reading more books. I want to be consistent in attending events. I want to be more consistent in actually booking clients every single day. If I just only book one person a day, I'm fine with that. But I want to be consistent with getting that one person a day booked, which is then, because of your consistency, going to turn into 10 people a day. You get what I'm saying? So if you focus your consistency on the things that really matter, instead of being consistent in the bed, like, dang, I wish I had more clients. Dang, I wish more people would follow me. Dang, I wish I had a bigger audience. Dang, I would. Like, we're so consistent with something like that, like wishing, hoping, waiting for something to fall in our life. We're consistent with those things, but we're not consistent with actually doing it. Like, okay, instead of me sitting here wishing I had more clients, let me get up and go get more clients. Let me actually get up, go through the phone numbers in my phone, and actually reach out to people and ask them if they need a facial. Actually reach out to people and ask them if they need their hair braided. What's your hair looking like? Like, what areas can you be more consistent in right now? So make that list of things that you want to be more consistent in. If you want to be more consistent in getting more clients, your next question is, okay, how can I be consistent in getting more clients? I know where. My where is more clients. That's where I want my consistent energy to flow, more clients. Now, how? I'm going to get up and pick up the phone. I'm going to create a text list so I can send out daily text messages. I'm going to create an email list so I can send out daily emails. I'm going to actually pick up the phone and call them. Like, you have to get to a place where you're being consistent in the small things and not just, I want to be more consistent. I want to be more consistent. We talk about I want to be more consistent all the time, But how and where do you want to be consistent? Because we all know how to be consistent. We all know how to eat the cookie that we know we shouldn't be eating every day. We know how to consistently eat unhealthy. So we have to learn how to be consistent when it comes to more things than just the things that are holding us back. Okay, so write that list of things that you want to be consistent in. That's number one. Write a list. You got to know where you want to be consistent. Because again, you got to keep in your head, we are already consistent. We already know how to be consistent. It's something in our life that we're being consistent in. It may not be the thing that you want to be consistent in, but you already know how to be consistent. You consistently give yourself self-doubt. You consistently think about fears. You consistently do all these things. You consistently get up every single day and eat. You don't forget to eat. You consistently get up every day and go to the bathroom when you got to pee. So we know how to be consistent. It's where your consistency is going that you have to focus on. So you got to make the list so you can be aware of where you want to be consistent. So the moment I made my list, although my next thing is pick one or two to focus on. So although I made a list of maybe like 100 things I want to be consistent in, I chose one and two to focus on. And I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't happen overnight. We are human. Our minds are wired a certain way based on the way we were raised and the things that we've seen. So we got to reshift, redirect, and reprogram our minds. So us being consistent in that entire list won't happen overnight. But I make the list because you are now aware of everything that it is that you want to be consistent in. So although I have a list of 100 and I'm only choosing my top 2, all those other 100s are still going to float in the back of my mind. So I'm putting all my energy and all my focus into the top 2 things I want to be consistent in, but yet I have a list of 100, meaning in the back of my mind, those things are floating in the back of my mind. So I may be focusing on eating healthy and drinking my water, right? Those are the 2 that I choose off the list. I may be literally just focusing in on those 2 things, eating healthy and drinking my water. Let's say that. Let's say I chose those 2 out of my 100. But I remember that on my list, I also said, I want to be kind to myself. I want to speak affirmations every day. I want to do personal development every day. I want to read 1 book a week. So although those are not the ones that I chose to focus on first, they're still sitting there and they're floating on the back of my mind. So now, although I'm focusing on drinking my water and eating healthy all week, but I know that I'm aware that I made that list and said I want to read a book. So sometime throughout that day, my mind is going to put me towards a book because I'm aware. So a lot of times we want to be consistent, but we're not aware of what we want to be consistent with. So that list is important to write and to speak it out loud. Okay? The power of the tongue, you already know. So write the list of where you want to be consistent. It can be simply, I want to be consistent with keeping my feet done. Keeping my toes painted, whether I go get them done or whether I do them at home, I want to be consistent with keeping my toes done. They're always looking a mess. I'm tired of my feet looking a mess. I want to be consistent with keeping my toes done. That can be one, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So as you start to build that foundation of being consistent in just 1 or 2 things, that's teaching you how to be consistent in everything else on that list. So even if you have to be the person that's like, you know what, this sounds hard, I'm going to choose the 2 simplest things off the list. If I drink 1 water bottle a day and I keep my feet done, those simple. I can do my toes before I get in the shower every Wednesday. I can wake up and drink my bottle of water before I do anything else. That's easy. I can do that. But just by doing those easy things, those things are going to start creating great habits of actually completing something, actually achieving something. And now you're going to be eager to start completing and achieving everything else on that list. I hope this is making sense because it's real. When it comes to consistency, you have to train your mind to be consistent. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of us seen a lot of inconsistent things growing up, whether it was our parents, whether it was friends, whether it was schools, you went to a new school every year, whether you moved houses every year. There's something that wired your mind and showed you that inconsistency is okay. And so the biggest thing that you want to focus on is creating that list of what you want to be consistent in and finding 2 things to put all your energy towards. Like really diving in to be consistent at least 1 or 2 things first. And as you start seeing how you're learning how to be consistent in those 1 or 2 things, it's going to be like this, like game time. Like, okay, I've been consistent in that for 2 months. I can brag about that. I drink water every single day for 2 months straight. So now it's becoming a habit. Now you don't have to focus so much energy on it because it's now became a habit. Now you can move on to 2 more things on that list. So the goal is to make the list so that you can start making those consistent wants on that list, the things you want to be consistent in. You can start shifting them into habits. Once they become a habit, they almost stick with you. Because these are things that we're learning at a young age. We learn things at a young age and they turn into habits. I learned how to brush my teeth as a kid. It's now a habit. So you got to get at a place in your life where you're literally making that list of things you want to be consistent in and turning them into habits. Once something becomes a habit, it's stuck with you. I'll probably almost never not brush my teeth every morning and night because it's been like embedded in my brain that this is what you do every day. Okay? So it's all about turning those things you want to be consistent in into a habit. Just choose one or two. Make a whole list. Everything you want to be, whether it's in your relationship, your business, your family, your home life, whatever it is, school, work, whatever. Whatever you want to be consistent in, create an entire list. I want to be consistent in washing my hair once a month. I want to be consistent in keeping my toes done. I want to be consistent in drinking my water. I want to be consistent in eating a fruit and vegetable every single day. I want to be consistent in writing in my notebook and journaling every day. Like, write the entire list and choose two to focus on. As you focus on those two and give all your energy to those two, your brain is automatically going to get happy that you've achieved something. It's going to say, I want more of that. So now that you've done that, you can take a little bit of energy off of focusing it because it's now a habit. Now I can go find two more things on that list and focus it on them. And before you know it, you're going to be consistent with so much in your life because you've changed your thinking. Okay? So that's that. Now the next one is fight your emotions. I got caught up on that one a little long. But the next one is fight your emotions. So one thing I would say is when I was going through that phase where I was like, gosh, I wish I was more consistent with my business. I wish I was more consistent in this. Why am I not so consistent? A lot of times it was my emotions. So I would wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I've been up with this baby all night. Let me just get an hour nap in. Now that they're gone, let me just get an hour nap in. So that hour nap in turned into 3 hours, right? And it's simply because what I should have done was, okay, I know I'm tired, but let me get these things that I know I really want to accomplish and finish done. And then when I finish, I can get a nap. That's the reward. But instead, there was a moment in my life where I was so inconsistent that I would say, I'm tired, I'm gonna just go to sleep right now, I'm gonna take an hour nap. And next thing you know, it's 3 p.m. and I gotta go get the kids. Now I don't even have the time to focus in on my business in my alone time. Now I gotta have kids and focus in on my business, right? So I said, okay, I gotta change my perspective. So I went from waking up in the morning, I get up at 6 every morning. I do my morning routine. I do my hygiene. I get ready. I get them off to daycare and I go straight into business. If I get tired, my nap happens after I complete at least one major thing off of my to-do list. But now that I have shifted my mind and my habits and everything I do so well, very seldom do I need a nap because now I'm drinking more water. Now I'm eating more healthy. Now I'm actually going to bed and sleeping good and not sitting with thoughts and worries on my mind because I have literally been so consistent with taking care of the well-being of myself. A lot of times we can't sleep at night. That's why we're tired the next day because we just sat up in the bed on Instagram all night because you can't sleep. Okay? So fight those emotions. Fight the tiredness because sometimes we're not even really tired. It's just our mind telling us we are. Right? So fight the emotions. If you're hungry, you know, I said I'm not going to be snacking. That happened to me today. My daughter went trick-or-treating last night and she has a bucket full of candy and she can't have it. But yeah, I'm looking at it like, oh, I want one. Throw it away. Fight the emotions. You're not hungry. You don't need the snack. You don't need the piece of candy. You don't need the fried chicken. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. Fight the emotion. And that is big because like self-discipline is, whoo. Like if I disappoint myself, it's no biggie. We have disappointed ourselves our entire lives if you think about it. So if I disappoint myself, it's really no biggie because sometimes the disappointments that I do to myself, other people can't see. The only person who can see it is me. So when I start disappointing other people, when I say, okay, hey friend, we're going to do this water challenge and I'm only going to drink water. Let's do it together. My friend say, yes, okay, let's do it. And then I disappoint my friend because I didn't drink water. Now I'm like, oh, dang, I disappointed somebody else. But we got to get like that for ourselves. And so that's what fight the emotion means. Fight the emotions that come in your mind and try to tell you, you can take that nap. You don't have to focus on business. You can go out with your friends tonight. You can worry about that tomorrow. Of course, we're going to get to scheduling out time for fun. But right now, we're just talking about fighting the emotions and really focusing in on being consistent in the things that you really know is going to take your life to the next level, your business to the next level. Don't allow your emotions to be the excuse to why you can't be consistent. Don't allow, oh, I was tired, I didn't get to finish. Oh, I meant to call you, I meant to reach out to you, now you lost the opportunity. Someone told you they wanted to collab, but you were tired, or you went out with your friends and you didn't even go handle the business that you needed to handle. So now that collab is over. They now have no faith in you. It's happened to me before. It's the reality of it. Okay? Next, forgive your failures. Growing up, a lot of us, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of us got in trouble for making mistakes. Every time we made a mistake, we got a punishment, we got a whooping, whatever the case may be. So we were taught that making mistakes was not okay. When we get in trouble when we make a mistake, it's not okay, you're in trouble. So now we are so hard on ourselves when we make failures. And you gotta get to a place and say, the only way for me to be better, the only reason why I did not do what I got in trouble for is because I made the mistake. So you cannot be hard on yourself because you made a mistake. It's a part of the lessons. It's a part of getting to the next level. If I didn't make these mistakes, I wouldn't be here today. You get what I'm saying? So forgive yourself for your failures. When you make a mistake and you fail, forgive yourself, give yourself grace, and ask yourself, what can you do better next time? And that's how you start working that. So when you start sinking into your failures and allowing your failures to break you down, bring you down, make you cry, and all these different things, instead of focusing on the things that you could be changing, the things you could be improving, the things you could be working on, you're now soaking in your failures. Like, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I hosted an event and only 2 people came. I got on live and only 1 person was there. So, okay, that's fine. Maybe that 1 person is that person that needed to hear it. So instead of turning your failures and saying, you know what? I know my first event only had 2 people, but my next event's gonna have 10. And the next one gonna have 20. Then we're gonna get to 100 by year 4. So instead of looking at it as, oh man, why me? Everybody else's events are packed. People have events. People go to vendor events and they make all these sales, and I only made 1 sale. So instead of beating yourself up for failing, analyze why you failed, make a change, do something different, and try again. But because our minds, we think once you fail, that means it ain't for you. Give up, give it up, don't do it again, don't try it again. Do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Like, seriously, do it again. Because when you get into a place where, when I got into a place where I was making mistakes, I was failing, I'm gonna give you guys a great example. I was selling skincare, and my first time promoting that I was selling it at this point, because I used it on myself for a long time before I actually started selling it. So at the point in time where I started selling it, I got to a place where I was like, dang, all these people were acne, but don't nobody want to use my stuff. I might as well stop making it, because I guess I'm not going to care about my skin. Now, if I would have really allowed that thought really take over my mind, there's a lot of people whose skin that I did heal who wouldn't have been healed. There's a lot of people that I did meet through my skincare line who I wouldn't have met. So instead of thinking like that, I say, what can I do differently to help people understand why healing their skin and having healthy skin is important? When I went to an event and I didn't sell any products, I came home and I beat myself up. But then I changed my mindset and I said, well, how can I go to another event and do different and do better? Maybe my setup could be better. Maybe I don't need all this stuff on my table that's scaring people away. Let me start looking into the things that I can shift and fix the failure. But a lot of times we soak into that failure and we're afraid of rejection, and we're afraid of being embarrassed, and we're humiliated, and we don't want to do it again. We don't want people to think, oh, my business is failing. Oh, my business is small. Everybody want to make everybody think they booked and busy. Instead of just focusing on how can I change the things that I'm failing at, and shift my perspective and shift my mind on it, so that as I continue to do it and do it and do it and do it, I'm getting better. Now I'm improving. Now I see the things that I want to see. Oh, now I got to do more. So when you get to a place where you're making failure, pat yourself on the back and say you did it. Because without failing in that area, you would have never known that you had to do better. You would have never taken that leap and said, okay, let me fix it. Let me do better in this. Let me figure out, let me sit this thing down and analyze it and really map it out. Because the thing that got me here today on this live talking about this is full of failures. It's full of events with nobody showing up. It's full of lives and Zooms with only 3 people on there. It's full of so many failures. But because I said, you know what? This thing is so powerful and so important to me, I'm going to be consistent for me. Because if I stop doing it, my mind is not going to continue to stay strong when it comes to self-love and healing and being the person that I am today. So no matter if anybody show up or not, I'm going to keep doing this thing because it's keeping me sane. It's making me happy. I'm passionate about it. When you stop doing things for other people in mind, and more so think of, instead of me thinking about all the people that I can book, all the people that I can impress, all the people that I can do for, let me focus on this passion and this purpose that I have and be consistent for me. Be consistent because God gave me this gift. When you think of it like that, it's like, well, dang. When you be consistent for you and God only, for blessing you with the gift, for blessing you with the talent, for blessing you with the business or whatever it is, you won't be disappointed when other people don't show up because you showed up for yourself. And so when I opened my mind in that way, I said, okay, so instead of waking up every single day focusing on, although I know that my business and my brand is for other people, that still wasn't my focus anymore. My focus was I had to be consistent because God gave me this gift and he didn't give it to me to just waste and lose and just keep in my pocket. Right? So that's when I got to a place where I was like, okay, well, since I'm doing it for me, to show praise, to show thanks, to show gratitude for even giving me this gift, I'm going to do it every day, whether one person or two people or three people or 1,000 people show up. I'm going to do it because this is a gift that I'm grateful for. This is something that I actually want to do. This is something I actually want to use. So instead of me being consistent and complaining, instead of me being consistent and being depressed, instead of me being consistent and having anxiety, instead of me being consistent and talking down on myself, talking down on my business, instead of me being consistent on sitting on the couch watching Netflix, eating, we consistent with that. Let's be consistent on talking life into ourselves, consistent in improving our failures, consistent in improving our friendships, our relationships, our environments, the way we speak, the movies we watch, the music we listen to. Let me be consistent in bettering myself. The moment I become consistent in bettering myself, I'm going to naturally become consistent in the things that I want to do in this world. Because the better that I am, the better I can be for my clients, the better I can be for my customers, the better I can be for my audience. So when I really dig deep into consistency on that end, that's when I was like, yeah, I got to be consistent. It's not a blueprint. It's not no magical formula to be consistent. You already know how to be consistent. The formula is in learning how to shift where you're being consistent. Are you a consistent sit downer? Are you a consistent get up and run? You got to ask yourself, where is my consistent energy flowing? If I'm complaining about I'm not reading books at least once a week, if I'm not reading a chapter in a book once a week, I'm complaining about it, but I can sit down and I can scroll on Instagram for 25 minutes. Well, I could have read that chapter during that time that I was scrolling on Instagram. I'm being sad because my audience isn't growing. I'm not really booked and busy, but I gotta really fake it on here on the social media just to keep my content going. Me act like I had a client today. Well, you're being consistent in that instead of picking up the phone and saying, let me go find my clients. Let me go align with my clients. Let me go to a store and check out the scenery and see who may look like a good fit for my brand. But then you're afraid to speak about your brand when you get in public, or you're afraid to pick up the phone out of embarrassment of, oh, she needs a client, or whatever your thought process is. And that's when you like shut down and now you're not talking about your brand to other people. You're not pushing your brand out. You're not being consistent with talking and promoting and putting your brand out there outside of social media. Hey. Right? So forgive your failures. Next, plan and schedule. This one was big for me because I would have thoughts in my head. I would say, okay, I want to do this tomorrow, but I wouldn't do it, and I had to figure out why. Planning and scheduling is so important. You can tell your mind, you can tell yourself you want to do X, Y, and Z tomorrow, and 9 times out of 10, sometimes you don't do it. Although you had it set in your mind that you was going to sit down and you was going to create a content calendar for the month for your business, you sat down, you said it in your head, you said you was going to do it, but you didn't do it. And a lot of times it's because you didn't plan and schedule. When you become very intentional and purposeful with everything that you do, it's almost like you're unstoppable. So when I got to a place, everybody always say, Marissa, you always posting content, you consistent with your content, but I felt like I wasn't. But the only reason why I felt like I wasn't is because I know my max ability when it comes to content. I know that I can post 3+ times a day. I know that I can get like dig deep into content on another level. I know that I can. So although other people were saying, Marissa, you always posting, I see the consistency, I love that, I love your content, I wasn't happy with it because I know what I can do. So although it's consistent to everybody else, it wasn't consistent to me. And so when you get in that place of you want to be consistent for you, and you see, because in the back of our mind, we know the real behind the closed doors. So although people may say Marissa's consistent with content, well, Marissa knows she can do 10 times better. She knows that's not really consistency. She's just barely doing it, barely pushing. So if you know, I'm going to use a clothing line, for example. If you know that you can make different pieces go together, different matches, you can put a style together, but yet you're not showing the world your gift and talent and putting looks together for people. Although you're making content, you're posting pictures of your clothes, you're not really being consistent in what you know that you truly can do. So that's when I say be purposeful and intentional with what you're doing. Don't just post a picture of an outfit. Don't just post a picture of a before and after doing skin. Show people what you're really, really, really made of. Don't just post the before and after. Don't just post a picture of the clothes. Show people that, yes, I have a boutique and I sell clothes or purses or shoes or hair or whatever it may be, but let me show you I have these bundles that I sell, but let me show you how I create a wig. Let me show you how I can do a quick updo with these bundles. Let me show you how I can put together a nice outfit for a girl's brunch. Let me show you how I can extract without pain on people's skin when I'm doing facials. Or let me show you how I can put a mask on someone's face and not let it touch their hair or their clothes or get them messy. Like really break down the things that you're doing. That's how you get to a place of consistent content. And that was something that I really truly had to learn, and that came based off me understanding who I was really like reaching for. So when I realized, okay, I want to be more consistent. I know what I'm doing. The world sees what I'm doing on social media, but behind closed doors, I know I can do more. And that's where that real consistency kicks in, because it's like, I got to work hard even when nobody's watching. I got to get up and work towards my business even when nobody's watching. I can't just do it to make it look good for social media. I got to be consistent in real life. And so that's when I got into a place where, well, if only one person show up to my Zoom or my event, I'm fine with that. I'm going. Till this day, I do my lives, I do my Zooms, and sometimes it'd be 0 people on there, but I'm so consistent with the vision, I'm so consistent with my brand that I'm going to do it anyway. So plan and schedule. So I plan out everything I want to do. So I'm going to give you guys an example. I planned out that I want to do my Zooms and my lives and everything. I planned that out. So each day there's something. Monday is open discussion for my free community. Tuesday is Tuesday Night Raw. Wednesday is Woman Win Wednesday. When I'm at the baker. Goodness. Y'all. So yeah. So I planned that out. So now my consistency is whether 1 person, 2 people, or 1,000 people show up, do it. So if I get on live and nobody's there, I'm doing it. If I get on Zoom and nobody's there, I'm doing it because I'm in such a consistent place. Yes, it is. I'm going to post it as a picture only because I think it's in a video. So I'm such in a consistent place that I don't care who shows up, I'm going to show up for me. And that's a lot of times I feel like in business we get stuck because we're waiting on our audience to be there. We're waiting on somebody to be there to say, okay, I like this brand. But you got to like your brand enough. You got to be the biggest fan. You got to be the person who's going to be consistent even when nobody's there. If I had a launch party and I had all my products there and I'm doing this big launch and I promoted it and nobody shows up, the old me, I would get like really, really like sad, like, dang, I might as well give this little thing up. The new me is looking at, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to get in the front of the room and do everything I would have did if there was 5,000 people there. But we shut down the moment we do something and nobody shows up. And it shows that we're waiting on other people to show up for us and we're not even showing up for ourselves. Okay. Again, we're waiting on somebody else to show up for us, but we're not even showing up for ourselves. So that's when I started to like strategically plan and schedule. So now it's not, I'm just saying I'm going to go live every day. I'm not just saying I'm going to do these webinars and these events. I'm not just saying it, I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to do it no matter who shows up. If it's just me in that room and I created a plan for today, me and God going to do this plan today. So if I created an activity for everybody to do, I'm going to pull out everything that I said that I was going to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's when consistency builds, because it's now a habit. So although nobody was showing up, I was showing up for myself. So when people do start showing up, you're going to be more prepared than ever. And that is something that I really learned, because I was like, okay, I want to speak at events. I want to do this. I want to do that. Y'all, I went to my first event and spoke, and I pooped. Not literally, but I did. I pooped. I literally did not do what I expected to do, because it was always a thought, but it was never a do. So now when I know I want to speak at events, or I want to talk to people, or I want to do these things, I'm doing it even when nobody shows up, because I'm showing up for myself. I'm saying, okay, whether one or two people get on this Zoom, we're going to get on here and we're going to run it. I'm getting in my chair. I'm setting my stuff up. Okay, here we go. If I'm just talking to the camera, I'm just talking to the camera. But I'm in a place where consistency is no longer an excuse, because we know that we can be consistent. I talked about this before. We are all consistent. Like, I know there's people who say, I'm not consistent. You are consistent. It's about what you're consistent in. Where's your consistent energy flowing? Are you consistently scrolling on Instagram? Are you consistently eating that cookie? Are you consistently not working out? You are consistent, but where are you consistent? Are you consistent in building your business? Are you waking up every day working on personal development, reading your Bible, whatever it is that you want to do? But some of us are on a side where we're consistently worrying, consistently thinking, consistently self-doubt, consistently self-sabotage, consistently talking down on ourselves, consistently not doing the things we keep saying we want to do. So we're all consistent. Let's throw that word, I'm not consistent, out the window. We're all consistent. We already know how to be consistent. We got to learn how to shift our consistent energy into the things that we actually want to be consistent in. So again, number one, write the list of things you want to be consistent in. Pick two, focus your energy on it. Once you focus your energy on it, it's going to become a habit. Once it's a habit, it's almost hard to lose it. I'm going to use the analogy I used at the beginning again. When we were kids, we learned to brush our teeth in the morning and night. Till this day, we have not forgotten that. Whether everybody do it or not, I don't know. It's on you. But that has not left your brain. You know for a fact every morning and night you are to brush your teeth, because it's become a habit. So as soon as you start being consistent in one or two things, it's going to become a habit. Now you're going to get so good at being consistent in the good things that you're going to start wanting to accomplish more consistent things. So I talked about being consistent with keeping your feet done and your drinking your water. Start with two easy things. That was something that I try. I try to make sure that my toes are always done. I'm trying to be consistent in that. And although it may be small to other people, me learning how to be consistent with keeping my toes done is me teaching my brain that I can make a lot of things into a habit. So now that it's because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So now that I've learned how to stay consistent in keeping my toes done, I can now be consistent in waking up and reading my Bible every morning. I know this now because I'm starting to see myself work on the small things, and I'm like peeking to the little things. Okay? So plan and schedule. And another thing, think about it this way. When I go to the gym, I might say I want to go to the gym every day from 6 to 7. Okay, I wake up at 6:30. That don't mean don't go. Y'all be late. Y'all be 30 minutes late to a workout and be like, all right, I'm just not going to work out today. I used to be looking at myself like, you could have went and did a little 30-minute workout. So that built consistency for me. So although I may have woke up late, or maybe I missed my exact time at 6 that I said I want to go. Okay, 6:30, cool. Jump up, brush my teeth, wash my face, throw my sneakers on, go work out for 30 minutes. You still have time. And so that's what built consistency. And again, for people who have events or whatever you do with your business, be consistent. So if you say, okay, I want to go live and show my audience the different looks in my outfit. If I get on live and I still see nobody, I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to still get up and I'm going to still show them my outfits. If I say, okay, I'm going to run this special for the entire month, bring a friend and get one price for facials. Let's use that for an example. Just because nobody books in with their friend doesn't mean I'm not going to stop promoting that special. I'm going to keep doing it and keep running it. I'm going to invite 2 of my friends over, and I'm going to do it because the moment you realize that what you're doing is for you and to glorify and praise the gift that you were gifted with, more than focusing on who's going to see it and who's going to do it and who's going to invest in it and who's going to get it, then you can be more consistent, because now you've taken people out the pole with you, so you're not looking to please and to like impress other people. So when it becomes a you thing, and I'm not saying like in a selfish way you thing, but when it comes to a place where it's like, I'm doing this because I was gifted with this. I am so grateful for this gift. I'm doing this because I am grateful for this. Now I've taken people out of the poll. So although I do want to impact people with what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm selling, I won't be disappointed if nobody shows up, because I'm doing this for the thankfulness and the gratitude that it was even given to me. I was blessed to be able to do facials. I was blessed to be able to put together a clothing brand. I'm so blessed, and I'm so grateful that I'm blessed with this gift or this talent or this business, that I'm going to show up every single day for me, because I'm so happy that I'm blessed. Not because I want other people to show me how blessed I am. So when I shifted that and I say, yes, I'm impacting other people. Yes, I want to help other people, but I have to get into a place where I'm just so grateful for the gift. I'm so grateful for the brand. I'm so grateful for the business idea, that whether 1 or 2 or 1,000 people show up, I'm going to get the job done. How to stay consistent. We're going to go through this list. Make sure there is a passion and purpose in the mix. This one is big. So a lot of times it's hard. It's like, well, I'm not really passionate about that, but I do want to lose weight. Let's use weight loss as a thing, because I know that's a big one. Like, or not even just weight loss, just being healthy in general. So like, it's not a passion of mine if I really think about it. But then when I break it down, I'm like, oh, that is a passion of mine. Do you want to be able to walk for another 50 years? Do you want to be able to talk? Do you want to be able to breathe? Do you want to be able to use the bathroom regularly? Do you want to be able to have nice skin? Do you want to be able to fit your clothes? Ask yourself these questions and you're like, oh wow, being healthy is a passion of mine. But when you just think of health and it's just like, oh, work out and stuff, you don't think of it as a passion. But in reality, if you have a business in general, you want to be here to be able to go. You don't want to be sitting in the hospital sick, overweight, or whatever the case may be, dehydrated, and your business is just hanging. Because a lot of us, I'm pretty sure a lot of us who are going to see this are on here now, our business do not run without us. A lot of us probably don't have a good rolling team like Apple or these other companies who's going to roll whether the CEO is here or not. Whether the CEO show up or not. A lot of their brands are like founded to the place where they're going to run regardless. But a lot of us, we are the brand. So if you're not healthy, how are you passionate about what you do? So now I look at health differently. So now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to eat that. Oh yeah, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to stick to my water because I need to be hydrated. In order for me to sit here and talk to people all day, in order for me to go to this event and stand and do, I got to be hydrated. So now I'm thinking a little deeper than just the thing. So make sure there's passion in the mix. So when I look at things, I'm saying, okay, I might not be personally passionate about this thing to the point that I create a business or a brand out of it, but I am going to be passionate enough to be healthy so that I can build my brand out the way that I visualize it to be. So that's number one. Number two, break down your goals. We give ourselves such big goals and then we get disappointed and we get discouraged and we give up and we're like, okay, bump this goal. That's not a goal anymore. Woo, woo, woo. Break your goals down. Be graceful with your stuff. Like, I have a lot of goals and a lot of my goals are really huge and really big. But it wasn't until I spread my goals out on a map and I said, okay, here's my goals for now. Here's my goals for quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay, quarter 1 next year. Okay, quarter 2 next year. Like, I spread my goals out and I broke them down to the core. So now, although I know that I want X, Y, and Z, I know that I have to focus on this right now because I can actually do this now. I may not be able to book out a stadium and speak right now, but I am able to go ahead and speak to the people that I have impacted so far. So why not work on the things that I can actually touch right now to lead me to the things that I see and visualize in the future? But a lot of times we work so hard on that future goal, that end goal for that like 5 and 10 years, that we don't even realize that we got to work on what we can put our hands on right now in order to even get there. So although the end is always in mind, you gotta focus on what you can put your hands on right now, the now. I may not be able to touch thousands of lives right now, but I can touch 3. I may not be able to sell 20 outfits and sell out this weekend, but I know I can do what I got to do, and I bet you I sell 5. So you got to really break your goals down and like map it out and plan it out and work on the things that are going to lead you to that big vision that you have. But if you stay stuck in, man, I didn't sell out, man, I only got 1 sale, man, only 1 person booked, you'll never get to the place where you're overflowing because you're not preparing. God not going to just throw it all in your lap. He got to prepare you, because when he give you things, he want it to last. He wants you to have it forever. He don't want you to lose it. So until you get into your head that, okay, let me work and focus on the things I can touch and I can do right now, and then I'm going to lead myself and get myself to that place of making those big goals and big visions a reality. Break your tasks down into small achievements. I'll be telling y'all, I be having so much on my mind to do every single day when I wake up, and I'll be like, oh, that's a lot. But if I was to sit there and just think about how much it's a lot, I'll never get it done. But instead, I break it down into small achievements. So boom, I'm working on an ebook right now. I really, really wish I had the power to just sit down and write the entire book in one day. But I know for me and my to-do list and my schedule and my life, me sitting down and creating an entire ebook at this moment right now is almost impossible. So instead of me dreading on the fact that I wish I could do that, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write chapter 1 on Wednesday. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write chapter 2 next Wednesday. I'm going to sit here and that's how I'm able to achieve a lot of things, because I break it down. So instead of doing nothing but thinking about the thing, because a lot of times we get ideas and we just think about it. We never act on it. We never try to do anything towards it. The moment you get an idea, it needs to be written down. The next thing you want to do is ask yourself, what can I do towards this idea right now? I was just talking to my mom about this when it comes to getting a house. A lot of people say, I want a house, I want a car, I want these different things, but they're not doing the things that you should do to lead up to it. The research in order to find it. Do you even know what house you want? Do you know how many bedrooms you want? Do you know, what do you want? You haven't even gotten to the place where you have thought about the things that you even want. But those are the steps that you could be making. And when that thing, like when you start making that effort towards that thing, now you're getting closer, because you're curious and you said this was an idea, this was a creative, and you want to accomplish it. Now you're putting energy towards it and you're saying, okay, let me do my research. Okay, let me look into this thing. Let me get a little bit more. Let me figure out what I want. Now you may run into research that you didn't even know. Now you know that you got to talk to X, Y, and Z. You got to apply for X, Y, and Z. You got to save this amount. You might can get something with little down. But you would never know a lot of things until you just act on it. So the moment an idea or a creative or something you want to do come to your mind, you got to write it down and you got to ask yourself, what can I do in this moment right now to start towards it? And it's going to be never ending. So it's like you're going to always be working on it. You're going to find yourself so consistent that it start actually birthing and coming to life. So break down your task into small achievements. Organize, declutter. Oh my goodness. When I say I cannot work, everybody that's in my house know I cannot work and I cannot function with clutter. The moment I clean up my house, the moment I declutter, the moment I throw some things away, is the moment that I birth something new every single time. Keep a clean space. Keep a decluttered space. The more you stay clean, the more you have space to think, the better you can create, the better you can be consistent. If you wake up in a dirty, junky house, you're going to be in the bed all day talking about, Lord, I need to clean this house, but I also need to do this and I also need to do this, and it's going to turn around, you're going to be in the bed all day. Because you're just worried about all these things. But when you declutter and you clean, you have so much freedom and so much space to just get up and work and create and do the things you need to do for your business. Clean your desk off. Clean your car out. Clean up and declutter. And watch how your creativity, watch how your mind can think. Watch how you can really focus on things better when you declutter and clean up. Talk to your partner often. Even if you don't have a significant other, I pray and I hope everybody has somebody that they can talk to. Being consistent, like I said, we already know how to be consistent. It's all about where your consistent energy is flowing. Okay? So being consistent isn't really the hard part. Learning how to be consistent in the right areas is where we get stuck. So talk to people. Talk to a close friend. Talk to a partner. Talk to a friend, a mentor, whoever, and talk about the things that you want to do. And so I always talk to my significant other because I can trust him with what I say. I can trust the constructive criticism, and I know for a fact that when I talk to him, it's going to be a passion driven thing, because now it's like I'm talking to him, now he's going to help me give birth to this thing. So you got to talk to people who are going to help you give birth and not hold you back. Find somebody that you can talk to throughout your journey of learning how to be consistent. When you start being consistent and you start seeing the outcome, or you know the outcome that you want to gain from being consistent, talk to your partner and say, hey man, all week long I've been sitting out emails to my customers. I really, really, truly believe next week I'm going to be booked every single day with at least one client, right? So now you talk to your partner like, oh yeah, okay, so since you sent those emails out, now you got to pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, did you get the email? I got X, Y, and Z going on. So when you talk to somebody who cares about being consistent and birthing new things and whatever it is that you're doing, now you're at a space where somebody else is pouring a little water on your plate and you growing, okay? So find somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to. Always have your reminder of your why. A lot of people are asleep on their why. A lot of people think their why don't motivate them. But if you really truly figure out why you're doing what you're doing within your brand, there's going to be a point in your heart where it's just like, there's no way I can't wake up and do this. When I say I have a fire every day I wake up, I have a fire to do exactly what I do every single day, because I know my why. I know I'm tired of looking at people in my family be mentally ill. I'm tired of seeing my friends and the people around me not loving themselves fully. That's my why. I really want the people around me to flourish in self-love and mental health so much that every single day I wake up in the morning and I do something towards my own self-love and my own mental health to help really improve the people around me life with self-love. So you got to figure out your why. If your why is not pulling and tugging at you to get out the bed every single day to even do those things, you're going to be okay with just saying, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination. This ain't good enough. Now you want everything to be perfect. Now you're not submitting no content. Okay, so keep that reminder of your why nearby, whether it's in your bedroom, your office, your car, or wherever it is. Keep that reminder of your why dear and close to your heart. Schedule time for fun. Like, seriously, like, I had to learn this. I had to say, okay, Marissa, you're building something that you just know is going to take time to give real true birth to. You know it. You gotta make time for fun. I create fun within working on my brand, so I have fun working on my business. I make it fun, and I create fun outside of it. So I might say, okay, I'm going to step out this weekend and I'm going to go to brunch with the girls. You got to create fun, because you got to have that brain space to say, okay, let me breathe. Because when you get to a place where you're just like stuck in the business, I make my business fun. I go to events with women who have like minds like me. Every single day, or every week, almost every day, I'm at an event, because that's fun for me. People ask me all the time, what do you do for fun? I go to business events. That's fun for me. So throughout your journey of entrepreneurship, you're going to need fun. You're going to need that reset time. Okay, so schedule time for fun, whether it's monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, schedule out time for fun to give your mind and give your heart and give everything that woosa, because you need it. And it also it opens up another bubble of creation. It makes me so creative. When I go out and I go have fun at business events, or I go to brunch, or I went to play at like this little social club, and it has like arcade games and music and stuff. It gave me space to create. But when I'm focused in and I'm draining myself and I'm stuck in the house and I don't have anything that's just bringing me peace and laughter, I get stuck. So at least once a week, I go out and I have lunch by myself. That's for me. That's fun for me. At least once a month, I go out with a couple friends, a couple ladies that I'm close with or I know, and we have fun together, and it's going to be positive vibes. I go out because it's a refuel for me. So you got to figure out what refuels you and what brings fun to your life while you're building your brand. Travel solo often. This one is so big for me because I am so scared to travel by myself, but I am fighting my fears. So I have been doing it more often. I have been driving places alone. I have been going places alone. Traveling solo gives you that time for your mind to think. If you have kids and you know how kids just talk all day long, that's all they do is talk, then you know that quiet time, that alone time is almost so therapeutic that you need it every single day. So travel alone as much as you can. And that doesn't mean like travel to different states alone all the time. Like even if you travel to the gas station or to the grocery store or wherever that you normally might bring somebody along, a kid, a friend, a partner, whatever, travel alone so you can have that alone time for your mind to just breathe and think. Money will not motivate consistency. It won't. You can get all the orders in the world. If you don't work on the back end on being consistent, money is not going to buy consistency. People always say money ain't going to buy happiness. Money ain't going to buy consistency. Right? So don't let money be the motivation. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to get money. I feel like at the end of the day, people know how to get money. Now, do people go get the money? Not all the time. But money is not going to motivate you. Okay, so if you think that just getting money is what's going to bring consistency into your life, money will not motivate you to be consistent. I know people who have money who still like, I don't know how to be consistent. Okay, so don't let money be the only motivation. I'll put it that way, because money can be your motivation. You could be somebody who's ready to be financially free. You're ready to pay your bills on time. You can be that, but don't let money be the only motivation. Environment, so your friendships, if your friends are not pouring back into you, if they're not filling your cups, if they're not bringing positivity to your life, if they're not supporting, if your environment is not just peace and happiness and growth, you got to change your environment. Y'all, a couple years ago, I could not function in my environment. I felt so out of place, because sometimes you outgrow people, and it's okay. It doesn't mean that they're not going to make it. It doesn't mean that they're not going to move forward. It doesn't mean that they're not going to do great things in life. It just means at this moment in time, I have outgrown you, and I cannot operate in this space. And you move on with grace. And you might end up back with the same people in that environment again one day, but sometimes you got to change your environment in order to change your mind, to change your life, to change your business, whatever it is you want to change. So number 10 is environment. Next is visualize your results. All the time we find ourselves wanting to get into things, we want to do things, we want to accomplish this, but we haven't really sat down and visualized it. When I said that I wanted to create a self-love brand and I wanted to have a retreat, I never actually sat down and visualized my retreat. I got a poster board the other day, and I'm drawing out this retreat. I'm drawing out what I want the house to look like. I'm drawing out what I want the activities to look like, where the women are going to be sitting, where they're going to be. I'm literally visualizing what it is that I want to accomplish. Now that I visualized it, I'm on go now. I'm creating, I'm planning, I'm working. I know the things that I have to do. If I know that I want guest speakers there, I know right now I can be talking and reaching out to people who speak on certain topics that I want at my retreat, and I can start working on securing those positions now. So when you visualize it, you'll start going after things that you know you can put your hands on now. Visualize the results. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, you got to visualize it, draw it out, plan it out. You can't control everything. It's number 12. And this one's so big. The moment I let loose of being in control, I'm able to just freely go. So when things happen, let's say, for instance, somebody cancels a one-on-one with me. I'm not going to get upset. I can't control that. I can't control that this person just got stuck in traffic. They can't get home, or they just maybe don't want to get on a one-on-one right now. They out with their friends. I cannot control that. So why would I allow it to control my mood? When things happen within my business, within my life, and I can't control it, if I can't physically do anything about it, that's my first question. I had to charge my phone, but that's my first question. If I can't physically do anything about it, why am I going to stress myself out about it? Next, if I can physically do something about it, is it worth the energy to even give it? Sometimes we try to fix things that we can't control, but it may not even be worth it. Is it truly worth it? Is it really worth my energy and my time? Okay? Control what you can. You cannot control everything. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Okay? Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Losing sight of the bigger picture can pull consistency right from under your lap. So you know that your bigger picture is, let me find an example. Your bigger picture is to have a shoe store in about a year, right? And you have shoes already, you just don't have the store. So you are focused on getting the store more than you're focused on even getting people in your shoes. Well, when you get the store, if you don't have the people who want to come into the store and actually shop with you, what good is it? So although my bigger picture is to have a store, well, I have the shoes right now, so let me focus on what I can do right now. And that's me getting people in my shoes now, which can lead me into actually getting a store. So you got to really like focus on the bigger picture. If you know what your bigger picture is, do the little things that you can do right now so that you can lead yourself to that bigger picture. Follow the industry for positive information. Please listen to this. If your timeline is full of things that does not relate to the brand that you have, you tripping. I unfollowed and fixed my timeline to the point where everything that pulls up on my timeline, it has something that's going to feed back into what I'm doing. So when I was focused on being an esthetician, I was focused on doing skin, I was following other estheticians, I was following natural skin remedies, I was following positive self-love pages. I'm following the things that are going to fuel back into me. Because 9 times out of 10, we don't have fuelers in our environment. In the beginning stage of entrepreneurship and creating a brand, majority of us are not surrounded by people doing the same things. So you got to find where you're going to get that fire and that refuel from. And so as entrepreneurs in this day and age, we spend a lot of our time on social media. So you got to follow pages that are going to fill your cup back up because you just poured into your customers and your clients and your consumers all day long. Who's filling you back up? Find friends. Find people in your area. Find people in your arena that can fuel you and fill your cup back up because you just poured into customers and clients and consumers and friends and families and kids and spouses and all these other things you just filled into, but who's going to fill back into you? You can have social media pages on your timeline that fill back into your cup. A simple positive quote that just made your mind say, smile. Whatever it is. Okay, so follow industries that give you positive information based on what you're doing. So if you're somebody who's going through a weight loss journey, follow healthy food pages. Why are you following these chefs that's cooking these good fried meals? That's not going to help you. I had to tell myself that. I said, I got to stop watching this stuff. Moment I see it, I'm getting in the car going to Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, Mexican restaurant for some fajita nachos. Because I'm filling myself with these chefs who's cooking this kind of food. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying their brands are bad. I'm not saying any of that, but I know that the mission that I'm on. If I know I want to eat healthier, I want to let go of fried foods, I want to let go of meat, I cannot be following these pages that's promoting anything but food, meat, and fried foods and sugar. Now I want it. So I shifted. I start following healthy food pages that are showing me healthy recipes, healthy quick snacks. Now I'm saying, okay, I don't have to really eat this in order to get a fulfillment. I can eat this. This bowl of pineapple and strawberry is just as good as that Snicker bar, but even better because it's good for me. Okay, so follow pages and people and have friends and people in your environment that are like filling you back up when it comes to what you're doing. If you're somebody who do hair, follow people who do hair. Why are you focused on people who do entrepreneurship in the author world? They write books and like, of course, anybody can be an author no matter what you do. But if you're doing hair and your focus is on, and I'm not saying you can't follow these type of people at all, but what I'm saying is fill your timeline up on people who relate to what it is that you're trying to do and accomplish. Okay? Blame yourself before you blame others is the last one. A lot of times we want to point the finger, but the moment we just look at us and say, okay, let me fix this about me. I can't worry about what everybody else is doing. I can't worry about how everybody else is doing people, how everybody else treat people. I can't worry about that. I have to worry about me. What can I fix about me? What can I improve about me? How can I make me better? These are the things that I want to focus on. I'm going to blame me before I blame anybody else. My favorite saying, my favorite quote is expect nothing from others but everything from myself. So when something go wrong, I'm looking at me. I'm not looking at nobody else. What can I do to be better? Okay? Habits are mostly unconscious, meaning we unconsciously do a lot of things because it's been embedded into our brains, okay? So things that can break your focus are family, friends, burden of expectations. A lot of people are expecting so much from you. Missing someone, a heartbreak, lack of interest, competition, depression, anxiety, your environment, which we talked about, your thoughts. These are things that can break your focus. And so when your focus is broken, that is when you find yourself not being consistent in the things that you truly want to be consistent in. Where should you put your consistency, your consistent energy? So we talked about all the things that stop us from being consistent. We talked about how to be consistent. We talked about all those things. Now, where do I put my consistent energy? Instead of me being consistently on the phone, gossiping, consistently sitting on the couch, watching Netflix, consistently doing everything that I know I don't want to do, let me be consistent on the things that I do want to do. So where should that energy go? It should go in health, okay? Meaning eating healthy as possible, drinking your water every single day, fixing your thoughts. When you get a negative thought, automatically jumping on it. Like, nah, that thought, you can't live here, you gotta go. Okay? Improving your friendships and your family and your relationships with your significant other. Improving those things is gonna help you become a better person. The better I started putting people in my life, the better I became. Because now, the better that I'm becoming, the better friends that I'm desiring. The better I'm becoming, the better relationship I desire. Like, I'm becoming this person, I can't do this in my relationship no more. I'm becoming this person, friend, I can't talk to you about other people no more. Right? So the better I become and the better I desire to become, the better I want the people around me to be. Working and achieving goals and dreams. That's where your energy should be going. You should be putting your energy towards working on your goals, working on your dreams. If you're at work and you're saying, dang, I can't really post all day, I can't really do X, Y, and Z because I'm at work. Well, let me tell you what you can do. Let's focus on what you can do. While I'm at work, when I have a thought in my head of what I want to do, I can take my notes real quick and type it in my phone. I'll get back to it later. When I'm at work and I run into somebody and we're having a good conversation, follow me on Instagram. I can't tell them why I want them to follow me on Instagram. Can't tell them why or what we're going to connect on, but let's just follow each other real quick. Here's my Instagram name. Go ahead and follow me. So now that person follow me, I can go ahead and introduce them to my brand later. So what can you work on while you're at work or while you're doing other things? Because I hear people say that all the time. Well, I can't really be consistent in my brand because I work. But what can you do at work? You work at Walmart and you check people out every day? Oh my gosh, I will be talking to everybody. Everybody in Walmart will leave with my Instagram name, with my business phone number. Everybody. And so you got to figure out, what can you work on today? What can you work on in that moment that can help you get to the bigger picture? And that's how you build consistency. Now that you know how to be consistent, you got to figure out where to put your consistent energy and how to shift it. Now it's time to choose up. So now from this day on, after you watch this video, you make the decision on where you're going to put your consistent energy. Because now you're aware that you do know how to be consistent. You're just not being consistent in the right areas. You're aware. So now every single day from here on out, whenever you choose to be consistent in the wrong things, just know it's on you now because you're now aware. So I'm really, really excited about this day. I have so much more I'm going to give to you guys. And I just love this because consistency is really like something that's in our pocket. It's a tool that we have. We got to use it for the right thing. And the moment we start learning how to use our consistency in the right areas, our worlds are going to change. Not just our business and our brands. Our world is going to change. Our relationships, our families, the way we look at life, our bank accounts, our health. So many things are going to change the moment that we realize that we already know how to be consistent. We got to shift where our consistent energy is flowing. Thank you guys for joining. Have a